as knowing how to survive in the wild during the aftermath of an expedition gone wrong. And remember this, cooking around the campfire is always fun, but it can also teach you some important lessons. Learning how to build a fire, or making sure your water is safe to drink, or understanding the differences between cooking out in the open and in a well-equipped kitchen. These are all important techniques for anyone who wants to stand a chance of surviving for real in the wild. Learn them well now, and you'll be in a much better position when things get a little edgier. Nutrition in a nutshell. Food is fuel. The harder we push our body and the more we expect of it, the more fuel we need. If you're going to function properly in the wild, you better make sure the tank doesn't get empty, and you tend to get out what you put in. Except it's not quite as simple as that. Take bananas, for instance. They're a great high-energy food, but if you lived off nothing but bananas, you'd go downhill pretty fast. The body needs a varied diet to continue functioning. That means making sure you consume all the major food groups: fats, carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. So before we start out, let's establish what these food groups are and where you find them. Fats. Fats in general get a bad press, but in fact they are essential to survival because certain vitamins need fats in order to be absorbed. Without fat in your diet, you'll die. You should try to make sure, however, that your diet is heavier on the good fats and lighter on the bad fats. Good fats, mono and polyunsaturated fats, are found in fish, nuts, and vegetable oils. Bad fats, saturated fats, which can raise your cholesterol and lead to heart disease, are found in meat and dairy products. When you're exerting yourself in the wild, it's worth remembering that you get twice as much energy from fats as you do from carbohydrates or proteins. And if you're going to burn that energy, it's okay to put it in the tank. Carbohydrates. These are divided into simple carbohydrates, basically sugars, and complex carbohydrates, whole grains, pulses, nuts, root vegetables. The complex carbohydrates are the ones you want. Sugars burn fast and quickly, whereas complex carbohydrates release their energy slowly over a long period of time. It's the difference between burning a scrunched-up piece of newspaper and a nice chunky log. Which one's going to keep you warmer for longer? Proteins. You get the same amount of energy from protein as you do from carbohydrates, and your body needs it to keep your cells and muscles healthy. At home, you're best off trying to get plenty of protein from whole natural foods such as avocados, pulses, and nuts. But in the wild, your main sources of protein will be from any animals you manage to kill or insects you manage to catch. The humble earthworm, for example, is extremely high in protein. But more on that later. Vitamins and minerals. These are found in tiny quantities in the body, but are essential for it to function properly, and most of them come from the food you eat. Your body stores about a month's worth of vitamins, but after that these reserves will start to deteriorate. Vitamin C is the first to go. The result is scurvy, the scourge of sailors on long voyages before people understood about vitamins. It can result in bleeding gums, loose teeth, jaundice, and eventually death. If you eat a varied diet of plant matter and a little good-quality grass-fed meat, most of your vitamins and minerals will be replenished, and it's worth remembering that they can come from the strangest sources. The Inuit derive much of their vitamin C from caribou liver and seal brain. Depending on your size and sex, you burn in the region of 2,000 calories a day if you're just sitting around doing nothing. If you're moving about and exerting yourself in the wild, you need a load more. Your body will use up its own reserves if you put nothing in the tank. After that, how much energy you have depends wholly on how much you eat. 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. 1 gram of either carbohydrate or protein has 4 calories. Water. As I'm sure you'll have figured by now, water is essential to survival, far more important than food. So if you're setting out on the trail, the first thing you should pack is your water bottles. And when you have water, you should ration it carefully. Drink just enough to keep yourself hydrated, but not so much that you just excrete the excess as sweat or pee.